Good evening. Welcome to another episode of OmenG's Stupid Scary Stories. Tonight I will be reading from the book Connecticut Ghost Stories and Legends by Thomas D'Agostino and Arlene Nicholson, part of the Haunted America series. Tonight's story is the NipMuc fishing fires. Let's see what this is all about. The many Indian names given to the various towns and pieces of real estate throughout the Nutmeg State attest to the profound impact the many different tribes had upon the region. Names like Onico and Uncasville are but a few town monikers that pay homage to the great warriors and sachems who once lived in harmony with or waged war against the settlers from across the ocean. Even the name Connecticut is derived from the Indian word Quantakatak, which means, depending upon who you query, the long river or river of pines, in regard to the watercourse that divides the state into two parts. Many tribes found prosperous hunting and fishing grounds in Connecticut. Among these tribes were the NipMuc, who settled in Thompson on the northeast border abutting Rhode Island and Massachusetts. They toiled the fields and constructed great earthen strongholds on Fort Hill for protection from possible invaders of their settlement. Their chief, Quinatisit, erected his lodge on the site that the Congregational Church now holds rights to. These people also worshipped and awed the great spirits of Chagagagagwagagagagagag Pond, also then called Chowambungungumungungog, meaning fishing place at the boundary. When Samuel Slater began operation in the mills on the lake, it would later combine the name with Englishmen at Manchog, thus creating the present name Chargagagog Mangkog Chog Jagagog Chowbunga Gongamungog, meaning Englishmen at Manchog at the fishing place at the boundary. The word NipMuc and its derivatives basically translate into freshwater people. As the tribe was endowed with the talent and fortunality, the taste for acquiring and preparing freshwater fish, this fondness for fish outweighed their appetite for meat, and they found themselves trading cord and game with the Narragansett tribe for their catch of the day. The Narragansetts, aware of the NipMuc's flair for shellfish and bluefish, sent forth an invitation for the two to join in a feast. Both parties reveled in food and fun, with fresh and saltwater seafood abundantly overflowing from the tables. It was not long before the NipMucs returned the invitation to the Narragansett tribe, and another great feast was scheduled. The NipMuc Indians prepared freshwater fish, corn, squash, beans, and eels, while the guests brought some oceanic delights and one of their own delectable creations, a special bread made from crushed corn and wild strawberries. The bread was presented as a gift, and the feast commenced. It's making me hungry. During the feast, the Narragansett Sachem noticed that the bread was never put on the table. Over a period of time, he grew irate and felt insulted by their lack of interest in his tribe's gift. This led to harsh words, and within moments, a battle between the two tribes broke out. Oh shit. The Narragansetts were easily slaughtered as they had come in peace, without weapons. Some escaped back to their village and declared revenge, but most died in the fight and were buried near the waters of the NipMucs. It became a great time of celebration for the NipMucs, and they decided to hold a grand powwow of their own on the spot where Lake Alexander now sits in Danielson. There they set up camp and began a 3-day-long gala where men, women, and children played games, ate and drank without care or reservation. Soon it became a party of reckless abandon that lingered into a 4th day. The Great Spirit, already angered by the bloody squabble and treachery that had prevailed shortly before, had witnessed enough and decided to end their unruly merriment and mirth. While the revelers were deep in their celebrating, the earth began to give way, causing the deep underground streams and rivers to rise and flow until they flooded the whole area where the tribe had been whooping it up. Every man, woman, and child at the powwow was said to have drowned from the vengeful hand of the Great Spirit. All but one, that is. The very apex of the hill, where an innocent and devout old woman had been resting, was spared the wrath of the Great Spirit. This island is now called Loon's Island. Whether or not the story is told exactly as I have heard it is a matter of little consequence, for there exists evidence below the surface of the lake that lends credence to the legend. When the sun's rays beam onto the surface, illuminating below the ripples, there can be seen the remnants of the tall trees that once stood sovereign on the now sunken hillsides. To this day, every 7 years, strange columns of blue light rise from the fishing areas where the tribe once lived in peace and harmony with the land. These lights are thought to be the spirits of the Narragansetts buried nearby, as they rise from the ponds and streams, reminding all of that fateful day when they were mercilessly eradicated. Legend contends that the lights may also be the essence of those who perished in the god's wrath upon the tribe. Is their spirits still watching over their once abundant fishing ground? Now, I already knew, just from hearing how shit went down in this place, there was no question that Razamul was somehow involved. I mean, come on. You heard it, right? They came in peace. They came in peace. They were having a feast and shit. Everybody was just fine. Eating, doing what they were doing, relaxing and shit. Stuffed. Somebody wants to get mad about some fucking bread all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? Some minor shit. Right? So you know what I go do. I asked Razamul, yo, what did you do, Razamul? I know you had something to do with these tribes going apeshit over some fucking strawberry cornbread. Yep. Ha. Whoa. Now that one was special. That one was real special. Cause check this out, right? You know, they had their feast before. I watched it. Everybody was cool, happy, seafood feast. Delicious it was. I was on the outskirts watching from the outside. It looked delicious though. Shrimps, fish, all types of fish, and shrimps they were eating. Delicious. Little crabs they had. Vegetables, fresh, from the farm, or whatever you call it when the Native Americans were doing it. We're just gonna call it a farm that moved around a lot. Anyway, nice spread. Food they had. They came together. Everything was cool, right? I couldn't have that. So, the next feast took place. Well, let's just say that I decided I'd come to the party. I did come to the party on the opposite side. NipMuc was expecting this strawberry cornbread that Narragansetts had spoke of, right? So I ate it. Ha! Because I knew it was going to be seen as some disrespect, make them think that they didn't bring a gift, right? But they really did bring a gift. It's just that I ate the shit. Started this whole big ass fight Because, they thought they bought the fucking cornbread. And they did bring the cornbread. But I ate the cornbread. So when they're all getting brolic, like, yeah, we have fucking cornbread, what are you talking about? Get out of our face. We would never disrespect you in that manner. And then they go and they open up the container, and inside of it is nothing. No bread, not even crumbs. I took it all, as if nothing ever existed, which made it even worse. There were some crumbs left. They could have blamed it on something. But now, it was as if they never bought anything at all. So I knew. All I had to do was poke a couple of jabs. Some guys, got in one guy's ear, started whispering in him. It's like, hey, look at this shit. What kind of fucked up shit is this? Last time we came here, we bought shrimps and all types of fucking delicious seafood and shit. All these guys had to do was bring some goddamn strawberry cornbread, and they couldn't even do that. I think we should fucking show them a thing or two about how we get down in NipMucville. We don't be playing this don't bring us our gift and shit after we feed you type shit, right? So I got in the ears of a few guys. Then I got a good group together. Like maybe about a good 10 or 15. I was ready to fight, right? So, sitting down, still waiting for this goddamn, strawberry cornbread that I know is not coming because I ate it. But they don't. So, getting it all amped up. Anxiety's pumping. People are aggravated, right? Finally, open up the container that has nothing in it, no crumbs. I ate them all. I'm laughing my ass off because I know it's about to go down. Guy's like, hey, we bought the strawberry cornbread. Starts yelling it and shit. Before he has a chance, one of my guys that I got all amped up and shit, feeling disrespected, jumps over the table, tomahawk, cleaves him clear in the face, hits him, knocks him off the table. Oh God, the brawl begins right there. Slaughter them. They did. I mean, there's a few guys from our side got punched or whatever, but it was nothing in comparison to the ass whooping that we handed these people. Shit was fucking hilarious, right? Yeah, that was good. But I forgot, that they pray to this great spirit. It's just another one of us demons out here that just so happens to give them what they want when he gets to do what he wants. And what he wanted to do was fuck up some humans. So, the great spirit, as they call him, they pray to him, and they're against it because they felt kind of butthurt about what happened, and they had every right to be fucking hurt because I ate strawberry cornbread. Anyway, so great spirit demon comes through. He's like, hey, Rosamund, what's going on over this way? He's like, yeah, I did some shit. Fuck these humans up pretty bad with these other humans. Got them all going after each other and shit. And the guys that you like, or the ones that like pray to you and shit, they don't know you're a fucking demon. They got savage. And what are you up to? Oh, I'm about to go savage those humans that you savaged before. Just in different ways. Just not in the ways of war. And hit them with disease and all types of other stuff. Terrible things are gonna happen to them. Other than that, that's pretty much it. See you on your merry way. On this merry way of win. Just gone, and that's all I did. And that's it. There's nothing else in the area that has anything to do with me. So, I heard the story that he told me. So, there's really not much for me to go there for. But I go anyway, right? Because, just to get a sense of history, and you can kind of feel it. And when I went there, right, there was so much energy in the area that, like, I was kind of like transported back in time. So I could see this feast that they were having. It looked so good. It smelled even better. Just like I wanted to be at the feast. And somehow I ended up at the feast. It was cool, right? You know what I'm saying? I realized kind of quick, fast, and in a hurry before we actually got to chowing down and shit that I was on the losing side of this whole little foray, right? I'm thinking to myself, is this fucking Rosamund doing some shit again? Was Rosamund. It was a great spirit, which is now a greater demon. It's chillaxing, giving me these funny looks. He's like, haha. I'm like, haha. Okay, fuck. This bullshit. Why do you have me stuck here? You know, time stops real quick when me and him are conversing between the two of us. His name was Lionel. Yeah, just like Lionel Richie, you know what I'm saying? Like, except he's not a singer. He's a greater demon. So, you know, while time's pausing, he's speaking to me and shit. He's like, you have two choices. As you can see, you're of the Narragansetts. Only one of them survives, and it's not you. Now, you can do one of three things. You can die, and then you'll die. And the history and the future stay the way they're supposed to be. Nothing is out of place. Or you can fight to survive and change tides of history by defeating the NipMucs here. You have knowledge of the attack. You can stop it. Or you can still let the attack happen and that you survive, and the one that's supposed to make it back to the village doesn't make it back to the village. So you kill him and you go back to the village in its place. But you'll change some part of the past, which will therefore change the future as we know it, which will change your present. Like, look, let me tell you something, Demon Lionel. Alright. I got two demons in jars. Rosamund, I'm sure you've heard of him, and his son Rex. He's not with me right now. Rosamund is. So, with your tricks, we're not gonna have any of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? This is what's gonna happen. Cause like, I don't give a fuck about changing time paradox and shit. I'm gonna slice, slice, homeboy that survives and go back in his place. I'm not changing all that shit. He just won't make it back. So whatever is tied to him is so important. Oh well. Okay, I don't care. So fuck you on that whole shit right there, Lionel. I don't know what you thought was gonna happen. Come on, let's play this shit out. He just fast forwarded it and shit. It's like there was no point because he already knew what I was gonna do, and I knew that I didn't care what it changed in the future, as long as in the past I live, right? There's no way that I'm related to any of these people in this story. My family didn't originally come from Connecticut. We ended up there, so I'm not tired of any of this nonsense running about here. So yeah, I killed him. He didn't make it back, and I did. So, you know what I'm saying? Seeing this whole historical thing play out, this new demon, Lionel, in my face, wanting to like throw all these little weird ass scenarios, you know, plug me into these little historical equations and keep trying to see if I'm going to keep trying to save myself. I'm thinking about, yes, I'm going to save myself, because if I die, I've left my timeline. So there's no copy of me back in the past to take care of my past family while I'm in the future running around doing dumb shit, or in the past, or wherever I'm at on the timeline that's not where I'm supposed to be at on the timeline. And then I die on that portion of the timeline. There's going to be a point where, you know, there's going to be a me missing. We can't have that. I don't have like cloning equipment here yet, in my laboratory and stuff. Just a time machine and a shrinking machine. And the grow back to normal machine. I'm working on a cloning device. Been working on it for quite some time. You know what I'm saying? And pretty soon I'll have one functioning. And a clone, maybe I'll have. I can't really speak on it with any true conviction or date of when said project may be completed or even commenced, for that matter. Legal ramifications can be astronomically great. Strange things that I'm thinking of right now at this point in time. Oh, shit, what was that? Hey! Don't knock on the door like that. That's fucking rude. Listen. You know, you have these people. They come banging on your fucking door. All hours of the day and night. Just screaming and yelling. Bloody murder. Top of their lungs. Ah! Ah! You open the door, you're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. Hey, shh, calm down. Shh, calm down. You notice blood all over the person. It's not their blood, but they're bloody as fuck, right? You're concerned. But at the same time, you're kind of cautious. So you tell them to sit on the front porch. Sit down. Shh, quiet. You have your weapon, whatever that may be. Maybe in your case, it's a fucking gun. Stop knocking on the door, goddammit. I told you to wait. Anyway, so, you know, you leave them out there. You don't let these bloody people in your fucking house. Never do that. I'll tell you why, right? You never know exactly what the fuck could be going on. You never know what could be going on, right? It could be like, they could be in trouble. Maybe a car accident or something. Maybe they were getting their ass beat and they had to do something drastic to escape. Or they could have done something fucked up to somebody else and are pretending to need help to make whatever crime they've committed look genuine, as if perhaps justified in some sick, twisted, demented kind of way you don't want to think of right now, but you might have to think of it. Now, person sitting on the front porch, they're getting a little upset now because, you know, I'm not moving with any real urgency because it's not my problem. You know, you have a safe porch to sit on. Chillax. You know, I talk it over with the family. You know, there's a bloody person on the front porch. What do we do? You know, don't let them in. You know, I was listening to the news earlier today, and there's some shit going on. Fucking people, bloody as they are like turning into these monster-looking things. Strange creatures. They're kind of like aliens, but they're not aliens. But I say aliens because they look alien. They don't look like anything you would see on this earth. So either they're aliens that came down here, or some kind of fucking infection. And usually the people who end up turning into these creatures are bloody to begin with. And it's not always their blood, but it's blood nonetheless. It's blood. And it's usually a bad sign. Bloody person usually means monster, thing, creature, eats, brains, heads, arms, legs. You die, and it lives and spreads around like fungus and shit, but not like fungus, because it's not fungus or spores or a virus. It's just an infection of some sort. Okay, that's interesting. It's interesting. So what do we do? I'll tell you what we did. We made sure we had plenty of food and stuff to hold us down for like about a week, maybe 2, just in case. You know, we knew there were some stores nearby in case shit hits the fan. It's a small population, so we won't have to deal with a whole lot of people. Shit hits the fan. We know which neighbors are cool. We build a little alliance with them. Make sure it's a network. lock down the block, literally. Nobody can step foot on this patch of land. We name it something different from what it was called before, because this is our territory now. We start planting vegetables and things. We cover the entire spot of land, fence, electrify the edges, just to make sure none of these infected motherfuckers or people trying to steal our shit come close. Occasionally we see just a little bit of land behind us and in front of us that nobody's really doing anything with. So we take it over, build our fence around that. Now we have a nice area. We got plenty of shit to grow. Got a way in and out. Our cars and stuff are protected from these weird creatures that these people turn into when they're infected with whatever this infection is. I don't know what it is. I'm not a fucking infection doctor. I'm just a guy in his basement telling stupid scary stories and shit. Anyway. Yeah, 2 weeks in supply. Tried to wait it out and see what was gonna happen. Wait it out for a little while. But in the meantime, we had the land that we needed blocked off a nice section, which gave us a buffer. We didn't have shit running right up on our houses. You know what I'm saying? We had plenty of space to see anything coming from around. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have any manhole areas that were unprotected. We made sure you tried to come in from underground, you had a little trap set up for your ass. You didn't try none of that shit. It's not fucking advised. You know what I'm saying? We took care of our own and our places. Had little cookouts. We would do them together. See, we started to eat as a community because you didn't have time to have fires going all day and night and shit. We all ate at the same time. Bam. You had people on lookout, making sure shit was safe. You know what I'm saying? Little patrols. Where we lived at the time was on the top of this tall hill in the area. So we had perfect sunlight for farms and shit, and beautiful visibility of everything around us. You see down before anything could come up. So it made it pretty, easy to defend. I remember one day, this group of marauders, oh yeah, we saw them about a mile away, literally, not even joking. It's on top of the roof, doing what we normally do when we're not doing anything else, just watching other shit, making sure nobody tries to sneak in to our area. We keep things nice, calm, and quiet. It's kind of boring for my kids because, fortunately, in our area, there isn't any other kids. But what we're doing is we're taking over abandoned lots and shit. So we've secured a pretty large section of this town that we live in. Each one of the houses that we take over, we put a small generator in and put lights on. And see, everybody now has their own light color that they use. We use red lights. Red lights has nothing to do with red or blue. It's just at the time, that's the only color bulb I had was a red light bulb. So I started using red light bulbs to show that those were our houses. We had put the power there. And for the most part, the people in the small towns just respected that shit. You know what I'm saying? They realized that they had to upkeep the properties that they had. That took resources that maybe one person by themselves can get, but we had a group of people. And when we would take over these abandoned properties, we would, get them fixed up enough that you could use them. So those people who were wandering about and weren't sick with the infection could find homes within our territories. We had one rule. can't just have anybody coming up in here and shit. This doesn't work like that because we do patrols. We'll see it and immediately you'll be thrown the fuck out. But while you are here, if you do want to bring someone else in, you know, we'll have to look and see who they are and how many they are, where they're from, and no vehicles. No vehicles. Once you live here, you live here. There's only a few vehicles, and that's for the like major echelon, which is me and the people who founded this community. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can live within the community, but in the houses that we provide for you. Like I said, take care of your house, and you help farm on the lot that's provided you. You have to grow some stuff. There's a list and some seeds. Start growing stuff. What you can't use for your family, your immediate family, you put it into the major storehouse, which is right there on the corner. And that is where we store all of the vegetables that we cannot use from our harvest. You understand what I'm saying? It's a storage for all of us. Have an inventory system, yada yada yada. You know, we explain this to all the people, and it works out. It works out for quite a long time. We have no issues, no worries of food running out. We grow a few chickens and stuff, hunt wild turkeys every now and then. We don't resort to savagery, you know. Sometimes we go on hunting trips, come back with some deer, or some rabbit and squirrel. Makes a delicious stew. Fishing where the water is safe, when the water is safe. The cuisine has changed. The cuisine has changed. We trade with the Amish from time to time. A lot of their settlements weren't even touched with the infection. So we found a lot of safe trading places in the Amish settlements. And since technologically we kind of slid backwards, the Amish was straight. Like, the system that they already had going was working just fine without electricity, so they didn't even skip a beat. They became the new hubs in the area. Like, if you wanted some kind of service, you went to the Amish country because that's where everybody else went. It wasn't that they necessarily had these particular people to do things. It's just that, you get what I'm saying? It was like the new cities. People would take 5-day trips to get to some of the biggest Amish settlements, where they could find everyone from people selling gas to farm equipment to electrical wiring, copper piping, wood, you know, shit, supplies that people need. It was a network of trade. Unless, of course, you had these things yourself. Now, what we couldn't trade for, since we were taking over so many of the abandoned properties, well, in some cases, if we didn't feel like a property was worth saving, we'd dismantle it. We'd take materials from it. The good parts. What was left was usually a shell of a building with a foundation at the very least. You would still have the concrete foundation, which is always good. You could always build upon that foundation later. But at the time, we didn't need it. We needed the material. So that's how we kept ourselves in wood, in siding, and glass, and things. We would take these things apart meticulously. Not just smash, smash, smash. No, we would even save the nails. I'm telling you, when things are crucial as they are in this particular timeline of existence, you have to do like I'm telling you, it's just to recycle shit. Stone bricks, wood, glass, aluminum foil. You think I'm joking? I'm not. Fucking toilet paper? Well, you can't recycle that. Sorry. Once you run out, you just kind of run out. Every now and then, we'll go on scavenging missions. See if we can find toilet paper, and we usually do. You'd be amazed at how many people just decided that they weren't going to wipe their ass. I thought it was going to be something like COVID, you know, where you couldn't find toilet paper to save your life. There were people hoarding toilet paper. Hoarding it. I didn't understand why. I mean, we always had an ample supply of toilet paper at most times. You know, we usually buy a bulk pack of it once a month or two. And we would just have it, you know? Just like, we would just have it. It was just never, I never thought I would ever see people go crazy for toilet paper like they did during COVID. It was weird. But this didn't happen in this alternate timeline that I'm speaking of with the creatures. This music like totally hit my story that I was telling like a fucking runaway train. That's why I just laugh like that, because this music is just so like, where did we go? We went from this community that we're building by taking over abandoned houses and shit to the new people that we let live and we tell them about the rules. Every now and then you do get those people that don't want to listen to the rules as they are. They want to try to have cookouts by themselves. And it's like, look, when you move into new community at large, you live as part of new community at large. We do everything together at large. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why it's called that. You need to understand the rules. And they'll look at me with a stupid look on their face like, and I'll be like, excuse me, hello? English, you speak it, right? Yes, you did when we spoke before. We made it perfectly clear. We made it perfectly clear what we expect of you, what we will accept and will not accept. And you having cookouts without everybody else, by yourself, like, who are you feeding? Who are you feeding that you don't want us to see that you're feeding? Oh, we're not feeding anybody. We don't want to hang out with everybody. That's part of the fucking rules. You don't have to speak to anybody when you're there. You don't have to, hey, how you doing, Bob? Oh, hey, Jim, John. No, all you have to do is bring your ass fucking there and make sure that you're there when everybody else is there. That's how we do things here in the community, new community at large. We don't expect anything more or less. Now, some people we had to throw out. You know, they be mad and shit, want to talk nonsense. Come back, we had electrified the fences. Now, you know how they have those dog fences? They call them invisible fence, but it's not really invisible fence at all, no. It's invisible in the sense that you don't see the fence because it's a signal that when dog crosses said invisible fence line, he gets a nice shock. Well, that's what happens to the people who try to come in to our territory. We have invisible fencing. We put that like a good mile away from our actual perimeter that we don't want touched, right? And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, how the fuck is this shit supposed to help you having this invisible fencing? You have to have collar. No, we don't. See, we have special little darts. They sink a fucking little implanted module deep enough into your skin that it would take you a considerable amount of time to dig it out. I'm not saying that you can't dig it out, because you can, but it's gonna take a while to get out. It's not gonna come out easy. You might as well just leave it in there. In most cases, you won't really realize it's in there because it's small enough to not really be detected at first, depending on if we get a good solid neat shot with the dart. Anyway, we'll hit you with one of those shits, maybe 2 or 3, depends on how many times your stupid ass tries to cross that outer perimeter. We don't try to kill you at first. Now you'll have these little fucking probes and shit stuck in your body at this point, right? And every single time you cross that outer barrier of invisible fencing, which you can't see because we buried it somewhere you won't see it, you'll cross that line and that shit will zap the shit out of you. But not like the dog collar one where it's zapping you from the outside in. No, this will be zapping you from the inside. Oh, it's gonna hurt even more. Even more it's gonna hurt because it's right there inside the meat, inside the muscle. Ooh, that's the worst. When it's like in a muscle, you'd be like sitting here waving to somebody like, hey, and then the next thing you know, you like smack yourself in the face because the muscle contraction's like, psh, ah! Just be zapping you, psh, ah! Psh, you beating the shit out of yourself, not knowing why. Not knowing why, right? And it's not even just pressing the button. It's just every time you hit that fence. And depending, like I said, on how many times you've been shot with these darts and where these little fucking modules are in your body, it could be very excruciating. You might have one, let's say, in your butt cheek, and one in your shoulder, one in the back of your neck. You'll run through that and they'll all go off at the same time. You'll be like, fall over, hit the floor, and just be laying there. And what's worse is you'll be stuck there like that. You'll be stuck there like that until somebody else comes along to get you, right? And what's so hilarious is you have to hope like hell that it's not somebody who already has those probes in them. Because then if it's one of those people who already has a probe in them, well, guess what? They're gonna run up on the fucking fence and shit, and then they're gonna be laid out there next to you. So there's gonna be like 2 or 3 people just laid out. And every now and then, there'll be so many people laid out on these fucking invisible fence lines that we'll have to like turn off the invisible fence for a little bit. You get what I'm saying? And just like let them get away. or we'll go out with a stick and we'll push them off the fucking fences. Because, you know, when you have so many of them, and especially when they're not like the creatures, when it's just regular fucking people and not creatures, it gets aggravated. It gets aggravated because when it's the creatures, you can just kill them. You know what I'm saying? We can't just kill people. We don't do that. We're not savages. We're not savages. We just don't want you guys living on our land without contributing to said land and the people who live on the land as well. You all gotta work together. You gotta work together or else we can't work at all. None of that you work for yourself shit. Nope, doesn't work that way. Get the fuck out. Several times, like I said, there's been people we've had to throw out of here. We did so without any prejudice. Had nothing to do with the color of skin or how much less they worked or if they were nice looking people or not. Nope. Didn't care what their political beliefs were, whether they believed in God or Allah or whatever, whoever they believed in. It didn't matter. At the point in time, there was a set rule that everyone eats same time together. Only one grill, one smoke, one fire. We don't need a whole bunch of fires. People see a whole bunch of fires, they assume there's a large ass settlement that has a whole bunch of people. If there's a whole bunch of people, that means there's a whole bunch of things. If there's a whole bunch of things, there's stuff to steal. We're gonna go steal that stuff. We're gonna have to come with guns and be violent and shoot people because there might be a lot of them. And we don't want to have to share their stuff with them. We just want to take it. And they might want it back. You don't understand the logic, what the people are thinking in this future fucking timeline that we're in. It's not some fucking sweet shit. No. I wasn't feeling it at all. But we had our little system going. Things were good. Till we had some bad times. Crops weren't growing as plentiful as they had in the years prior. You know what I'm saying? Search parties were coming back with less and less stuff. There was a group that thought that they were gonna come take this nice little utopia we've carved out for ourselves. And not because they need it. You know what I'm saying? They've got their own little land across the valley, the other side of the mountain. Plenty of trees, water, and everything. Like, they just are mad because we have our own little system and it's not like their system. And they want to be assholes and shit. So, you know, we've been shooting a lot of them with darts lately because they know that we have this invisible fence. So it's getting darted on purpose pretty much. It's until we realize why they've been doing it. One day, all of them gather. And they start running at the invisible fences. And they're getting zapped. And they're falling down. And at first, I'm just thinking about how stupid these idiots are. Like, why are you purposely electrocuting yourselves? Why would you do this? You're stupid. Then I started to think, wait a minute. There's like hundreds of them. They're going to overload the section of wall. You gotta kill them. It was hard for me to convince some of the other new community at large to get behind me on this. They were thinking, no, we don't want to just kill people. That's not good. What if we need them later? I'm like, we're gonna need our own people later. And they are trying to like destroy shit. They don't want to live the way we want to live. We've invited people in, and you know how it's been. The rules are the rules. I'm tired of this shit. They're running up against this fence, and they're going to overload it. And when they do, they're going to be able to spill in. We're going to have to kill them anyway. So we might as well kill them now before they overload the fucking invisible fence. Then we'll be open to attack from all sides. Would say all of you. In fact, you know what? I don't care what you say. I'm protecting what I helped build from the beginning. I left. Got one of my little machine guns and shit. A couple of grenades and a flamethrower. I went to that section of invisible fence where these idiots were throwing themselves at. And I said, okay, this is the game we're gonna play, right? This is the game we're gonna play. And they're just laughing because they know what they're doing. But they had no idea what I was about to do, right? I threw a couple of Molotov cocktails at them, but I didn't light the matches. I'm just throwing them at them, just splashing on them. And they're laughing because they're like, ha ha ha, where's the flamage? You got dud ass motherfucking Molotovs. Call them just bottles of splash. You're not even doing anything. You know, they're just being insulting. And that's when I whip out the flamethrower. Hit it full blast. Bam. Many of them caught on fire instantaneously. It was like spontaneous combustion. Poof. Big flames. Screaming, right? screaming. I'm like, oh yeah, oh that's right. They're stuck in that zap pose. So they're getting zapped at the same time. They're burning alive. And they can't do anything about it because they're being zapped at the same time. I felt terrible. But at the same token, I had to let these motherfuckers know that yes, this is the type of savage shit that will happen to you if you try to come in here and harm us, and try to take what we have. It's not gonna work like that. You know what I'm saying? This is what's gonna happen. And I sat there and I watched them burn to a crisp. I watched them. But these guys kept coming. You know, they just kept throwing more of them at the fucking gate. And I'm thinking to myself, they're foolish. Why would you do this? Why would you do this? Why would you do this? One of them came to the forefront, but stood back a little bit. He's like, we're doing this because you guys have a nice setup up here. We can't have two ways of thinking in these new times. One way, and that's the only way, because then, you know, our people might like what the fuck your people are talking about over here, and they might want to leave, and then we'll lose people. And then, you know, vice versa, maybe your people want what's going on with our side of town, and you guys might not like that, and it might cause problems. No, actually, we don't care. Like, when we kick people out, we hope you don't come back. We don't want you to come back. We're not coming to look for you either. We don't want to be bothered with you. Once you leave or we throw you out, you're gone. Like, why do you think, why would we give a fuck what the fuck you're doing? Why are we even fighting about this? This is stupid. I'm just gonna kill you. There's no working together. Like, after this is over, there's gonna be no, oh, that's the guys that attacked us when we were minding our own business some time ago. They're okay now because we killed a whole bunch of them. So yeah, let's let them live among us. No, that's never gonna happen, buddy. So how about we just stop what we're doing right now? You go back to your little area of land. Don't come back here because there's no reason for you to come here. We've seen your setup. Got a nice little setup. Go eat your vegetables and have your beef. You don't see us coming down there trying to steal your beef. We trade with you. Now you want to be douchebags. Come up here. That's fucked up shit. We're not having that. Like I told you, I'll just keep setting you all on fire at this spot. Talking my shit to this guy. I hear something come over a little radio, crackling. It's like, we're in, sir. I'm like, huh? Look. Then all of a sudden, they're standing there doing nothing, and I don't understand it because he just said something like, we're in, sir. And I'm thinking, they're in where? What are they in? What are they in? But they were just saying that to try to, like, get me all tricked out and shit. You know, thinking that they're doing something that they're not doing. The fact of the matter is they weren't in anything. There was nowhere for them to get in. We had this place on lockdown. I told you, locked down. We had been building it up for years. Now they had no choice but to accept the ceasefire. From that day forward, folks, we allowed no more people in to our settlement because you can't trust them. And no one else was allowed to leave. That's what it was. We were stuck there at this point. And if you were caught trying to defect, you were shot on sight. Nobody wanted to leave anyway because we had a nice little thing going on. Everybody could do what they wanted to do except for they had to do certain things together. And that's just the way it was. It was like having a big ass family dinner. That's what it was like. So, you know what I'm saying? We all met at a place that had ample space for eating. And we did. It was like a very nice community thing. And you're probably saying, that's foolish. You should let everybody eat at different times because if everybody's eating at the same time, then how are they protecting or watching what they're supposed to be watching? Invisible fences. Real fences. That's what watches the perimeter when we're doing what we're supposed to be doing all together. And since everybody eats at the same time, nobody's hungry later because everybody's already ate. So I know what I'm doing here, folks. It's our little settlement. It's our new community at large. Yeah. Don't ask too many questions. Don't ask too many questions. Just accept it for what it is. One of OmenG's stupid, scary stories.